July 2026. Christopher Nolan, the director of Oppenheimer, Inception, The Dark Knight, and Interstellar, is releasing his most ambitious film yet, an adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic, the Odyssey. The film features a star-studded ensemble cast: Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron, and Elliot Page. It was shot entirely on IMAX film cameras with virtually no CGI environments. The production budget reportedly stands at a staggering $250 million. When you factor in the massive global marketing campaign, which totaled an additional $125 million, the total investment climbs to $375 million. This makes it one of the most expensive R-rated films in cinematic history. And yet, before a single frame of this epic has officially been seen by the general public, this film has become the most contentious and divisive movie of the year, perhaps of the decade. Its trailers have been dissected frame by frame. Its casting choices have been branded woke, disgusting, and even a desecration of Homer's sacred text. The world's richest man, Elon Musk, took to his social media platform X to call the director, Christopher Nolan, an anti-white racist, and accused him of pissing on Homer's grave. The official X account for the movie was forced to restrict comments due to the sheer volume of vitriolic backlash pouring in from all corners of the internet. Conservative commentators have declared war on the film. Liberal critics have praised its progressive vision. Classical scholars have called the entire debate particularly silly. Meanwhile, Nolan himself has dismissed the pre-release criticism as irrelevant. So, what exactly is in this film that has turned a 3,000-year-old poem into a modern-day culture war battleground? Why are people fighting over a movie they haven't even seen? Let's break down the facts, the history, the production details, and the psychology behind the Odyssey phenomenon. Let's start with the original. Homer's Odyssey is one of the oldest and most influential works of Western literature. Scholars believe it was composed around the 8th or 7th century BC, making it nearly 3,000 years old. It is an epic poem divided into 24 books, originally transmitted orally long before it was ever written down. The narrative follows Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca, and his perilous 10-year journey home following the conclusion of the Trojan War. His voyage is fraught with unimaginable dangers. He battles the Cyclops Polyphemus, navigates past the deadly sirens, faces the six-headed monster Scylla, and defies the wrath of the sea god Poseidon. Meanwhile, back in Ithaca, his faithful wife Penelope is besieged by over 100 arrogant suitors who consume his wealth and pressure her to choose a new husband. His son, Telemachus, embarks on his own journey to find news of his father. The poem is not just an adventure story. It is a profound exploration of perseverance, loyalty, identity, and the human struggle to find one's way home against all odds. Christopher Nolan's adaptation retains this core narrative structure. Matt Damon steps into the sandals of Odysseus. Tom Holland portrays his son, Telemachus. Anne Hathaway plays the devoted Penelope. Zendaya embodies the goddess Athena, Odysseus's divine protector. Robert Pattinson plays the chief suitor, Antinous, an antagonist whose arrogance ultimately leads to his downfall. Lupita Nyong'o appears as Helen of Troy, the mythical figure whose abduction sparked the Trojan War. Charlize Theron plays the nymph Calypso, who holds Odysseus captive on her island for 7 years. Nolan has emphasized that his adaptation is not a straightforward page-to-screen translation. He described it as an action epic that utilizes the IMAX format to its fullest potential, exploring themes of myth-making and storytelling itself. However, it is not the plot that has generated the uproar. It is Nolan's creative choices in how he chose to bring this ancient world to life. In Homer's text, Helen is described as having white arms and is celebrated as the most beautiful woman in the world. The casting of the Kenyan-Mexican Academy Award-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o as Helen has been the primary flashpoint of the controversy. Then there is the casting of Elliot Page, a transgender actor known for Juno and The Umbrella Academy, in a prominent male soldier role. Early rumors falsely claimed Page was cast as Achilles, which ignited a wave of transphobic criticism, despite the fact that Achilles does not even appear in the Odyssey. In reality, Page plays Sinon, the Greek spy who convinces the Trojans to bring the wooden horse into their city. Grammy-nominated rapper Travis Scott was cast as a blind Greek bard, with Nolan defending the choice by arguing that the poem's oral tradition is analogous to rap. Reports also confirmed that Robert Pattinson's character uses the phrase "daddy" in a key scene, and that Matt Damon speaks in a modern American accent rather than the traditional British received pronunciation typically associated with historical epics. Finally, the near-total absence of Greek actors in the principal cast has rankled many viewers who feel their own cultural heritage is being overlooked. Why is a swords and sandals fantasy epic triggering such a fierce and deeply personal reaction from global audiences? There are several profound psychological factors at play. Christopher Nolan occupies a rare and unique position in Hollywood. He is one of the few directors whose films appeal to both the political left and the right. Conservatives often admire his traditional, practical filmmaking style and his focus on grand, philosophical themes. Liberals admire his artistic ambition and progressive collaborators. However, the Odyssey, drawn from one of the most revered foundational texts of Western civilization, has become a uniquely charged battleground. When a filmmaker with Nolan's reputation makes creative choices that are perceived as progressive or diverse, it feels like a betrayal to certain conservative fans who view these ancient stories as part of their own cultural heritage. The casting choices have been framed by right-wing commentators and influencers as pure, woke ideology. Elon Musk amplified this narrative exponentially. When the world's richest man calls the director a racist and the film a desecration, it is no longer just a movie debate. It becomes a political event. This taps into a broader societal anxiety about diversity in Hollywood, a deeply ingrained fear among some demographics that their traditional stories and cultural icons are being taken away from them and repurposed for a modern, multicultural audience. Many critics have complained about American accents, modern dialogue, and even the design of the ships, which some fans have claimed resemble Viking longships rather than Greek triremes. But here is the psychological trick. Ancient Greeks did not speak with British accents. The British accent for historical figures is a 20th century Hollywood convention, not a historical fact. The outrage is not about historical accuracy at all. It is about violating an established cinematic expectation. When audiences watch a period epic, they expect a certain visual and auditory language. Nolan has violated that language, and the cognitive dissonance is being expressed as outrage. The debate ultimately reveals a deeper, more existential question: who gets to tell these stories? As Professor Daniel Mendelsohn noted, the debate surrounding the Odyssey reveals less about Nolan's filmmaking and more about who feels entitled to own ancient stories. If the argument is purely about genetic heritage, then no modern person has a direct claim to a 3,000-year-old oral poem. The poem belongs to humanity. And finally, the massive backlash has created a reverse Streisand effect. The controversy itself is fueling curiosity. Audiences who might never have sought out a 3-hour Greek epic are now intensely curious about what all the fuss is about. To fully grasp this controversy, we need to understand the history, not just of the poem, but of Hollywood's long-standing relationship with Greek mythology. The Odyssey and its companion epic, the Iliad, are the foundational texts of Western literature. They were oral poems meant to be recited and sung before they were standardized in written form. Scholars still debate whether a single poet named Homer existed, or whether the poems were a collection of works by multiple authors over generations. What is certain is that these poems have been translated, adapted, and reinterpreted countless times over the past 2,800 years. Every generation has put its own stamp on Odysseus. Hollywood has a long and consistent history of adapting Greek mythology with very limited Greek representation. Troy in 2004 starred Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, and Orlando Bloom. Clash of the Titans in both 1981 and 2010 starred Sam Worthington, Liam Neeson, and Ralph Fiennes. Immortals in 2011 starred Henry Cavill and Mickey Rourke. Hercules in 2014 starred Dwayne Johnson, and 300 in 2006 starred Gerard Butler. In fact, the Odyssey reportedly has only one confirmed actor of Greek descent in a supporting role. This is not a new phenomenon. The white, British, and American casting of mythological figures has been the default for decades. The only difference now is that in 2026, this default is being fiercely scrutinized through the lens of modern identity politics. A less discussed but equally significant layer of controversy involves the production's filming locations. Nolan shot extensive sequences in Morocco, Sicily, Greece, and the United Kingdom. While filming in Greece was welcomed as a boost to tourism, some critics pointed out the irony of a film being shot in locations with complex colonial histories without fully engaging with those local communities. The film reportedly received an R rating from the MPAA, making it only the second R-rated film of Nolan's career following Oppenheimer. Reports also indicated that a CGI alteration involving a nude scene was a voluntary decision made by the filmmakers to ensure a broader international release. Despite the global backlash, Nolan has remained defiant. In an interview with The Washington Times, he stated that the conversations happening before people see the film are always irrelevant, because no one having them knows what the film is actually yet. He added, "It comes with the territory. What you have to do is honor the original text by interpreting it in the strongest way you personally can." Let's take a closer look at the most widely circulated claims and compare them against documented evidence and expert testimony. The first claim is that Nolan cast Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy purely to be woke and satisfy diversity quotas. This is a highly reductive argument. Lupita Nyong'o is an Academy Award-winning actress of immense talent. Professor Daniel Mendelsohn, a renowned classicist who has translated Homer, called the debate particularly silly, pointing out that Helen actually has the tiniest role in the Odyssey, appearing in a single book for a brief conversation. He also argued that Nyong'o's casting is perfectly consonant with the concern of the Troy myth, which is how to think about beauty. Helen is a symbol of beauty itself, and the character is mythological, not historical. The second claim is that Elliot Page is playing Achilles in a political statement. This is factually incorrect. Achilles does not appear in the Odyssey at all. Elliot Page was cast as Sinon, the Greek spy who convinces the Trojans to accept the wooden horse. Sinon is a male character, and Page, as a transgender man, is simply playing a male role. The false rumor about Achilles was created and spread to amplify transphobic backlash, but it has no basis in the actual casting decisions. The third claim is that the film's historical inaccuracies make it culturally worthless. This argument fundamentally misunderstands the nature of the source material. The Odyssey is not a history textbook. It is mythology. It features gods, monsters, magic, and fantastic creatures. There is no historical accuracy to preserve in the sense of a documentary. Ancient Greeks did not speak modern American or British English. Every single adaptation of Homer has used the language of its time. The fourth claim is that the backlash proves the film is going to flop. The exact opposite is being predicted. The controversy has generated an enormous amount of free global publicity. PR experts have noted that outrage is cheap, but movie tickets are not. The film currently holds a staggering 96% to 99% critics' score on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics calling it a genuinely grand, gutsy vision, and one of the most dynamic movies in recent memory. The fifth claim is that Nolan is ignoring the criticism and is out of touch. Nolan has in fact addressed it directly in multiple interviews. He is not ignoring it. He is simply unbothered by it. He believes the conversations are irrelevant because the critics have not seen the finished product. He is focused on his artistic integrity, not on appeasing online mobs. Now, let's talk about the business side of this massive controversy. Universal Pictures has invested heavily in this film. The production budget sits at $250 million. In the movie business, a film generally needs to gross 2.5 to 3 times its production budget to break even, accounting for marketing costs and theater revenue splits. This means the Odyssey will need to cross the $700 million to $750 million mark globally just to turn a profit. Early box office projections are optimistic. Industry analysts are predicting an opening weekend of $90 million to $100 million in North America alone. Globally, the opening weekend could surpass $200 million. The Chinese market, which has historically favored American action blockbusters, will be a significant factor in determining the film's ultimate financial success. This financial pressure adds another layer to the controversy. If the film underperforms domestically due to the conservative boycott but performs well internationally, it could shift how Hollywood approaches mythological adaptations in the future. Conversely, if the controversy drives audiences away in a significant way, it could be one of the biggest box office flops of Nolan's career. The stakes, both creatively and financially, could not be higher. Despite the online outrage, the critical reception has been overwhelmingly positive. The Hollywood Reporter described the film as a genuinely grand, gutsy vision, and praised Nolan's ability to balance intimate human drama with epic spectacle. The BBC noted that the film is epic, grandiose, and deeply intelligent, calling it an essential big-screen experience. Critics have specifically praised Matt Damon's performance as a weary, battle-hardened Odysseus. Tom Holland, known for his youthful energy as Spider-Man, has been cited for a mature and grounded performance as Telemachus. Zendaya's portrayal of Athena has been called magnetic and otherworldly. The massive disparity between the online hate and the critical acclaim highlights the fractured nature of modern media consumption. A film can be critically lauded and deeply hated before it is even released. And The Odyssey is the most striking example of this phenomenon in recent memory. So, what is the real story behind the Odyssey controversy? It is the story of a 3,000-year-old poem that has become a modern-day culture war fought on the battlefields of social media. It is the story of a director who refuses to bend to online outrage. It is the story of how casting choices, accents, and creative decisions can ignite global debates about race, identity, representation, and historical ownership. As one astute analysis put it, the debate surrounding The Odyssey reveals less about Nolan's filmmaking and more about who feels entitled to own ancient stories. The film may divide audiences. It will certainly spark more outrage after its release. Some will walk out loving it, others will walk out hating it. But one thing is absolutely certain. The conversation has already gone global. The film currently holds a stunning 96% to 99% critics' score on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics have called it a genuinely grand, gutsy vision, and one of the most dynamic movies in recent memory. Whether audiences agree or whether the backlash continues to dominate the narrative remains to be seen. Christopher Nolan has once again done what he does best. He has created a cinematic event that demands to be discussed, debated, and dissected. He has taken the oldest story in the Western world and made it feel urgent, modern, and controversial. As Nolan himself said, "What you have to do is honor the original text by interpreting it in the strongest way you personally can." He has done that, and the world is fighting about it. What do you think? Should ancient stories be adapted with modern casting, or should they stay faithful to their traditional origins? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep dives into cinema's biggest controversies, consider subscribing to Ninth Reel.